the 2K Sports pregame show.
So good to be with you again, everybody. The NBA season has now hit its stride. I'm Ernie Johnson, along with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith on 2K Sports. Tonight, we'll be watching the Los Angeles Clippers playing against the Chicago Bulls. Looking at the Bulls, this is their first time facing off this season. Last year, they split the season series at a game apiece. And the topic here...
Clippers coming in from out of town for this one, an interconference game today. The Bulls happy to return to Chicago after the road trip. And, of course, C.J. Miles, he won't be an option for them.
You know, what the trade means to me, guys, is they think some of their younger players are ready to spread their wings and take on a little more responsibility. They're going to get more minutes for those guys and allow them to see a little more playing time.
Clearly a forward-thinking deal, you know, and even if his aren't the biggest shoes to fill, it still puts a lot of pressure on your young guys. And let's see if they're ready to fill that void.
And the Clippers starting five. Paul and Crawford pair up at the 1 and 2. Inside, it's Griffin and Jordan, and it's Pierce in at the 3.
And no doubt last season the Bulls were clearly preparing for the playoffs. They played their rookies but added a lot of playoff seasoned veterans to that roster.
Now here's Rose. He had an 18-point outing in the last game against Boston.
But what stood out for me was his gorgeous playmaking out there. I mean, over and over, he was finding his teammates in a great position to score.
And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
Guys, I caught up with Doc Rivers for a minute. One player he doesn't want to overlook is Pau Gasol. He said Pau has that hook shot that is nearly impossible to guard, and that most of their defense on Pau will be centered around denying him the ball and forcing him to catch it away from the basket. We'll see if they can execute that plan, guys.
Thanks, Doris.
And sometimes he can hit that deep three, but it's not a high percentage shot for him.
Yeah, even for him, that's out of his range.
Right outside. The shot by Butler, nobody around. Off target from outside. The Clippers have gone 2 of 3 here to start out the game. Paul kicks to Jordan. He's looking for Griffin and finds him. Los Angeles with another miss. Bulls have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. Kicks to Drummond. And again, no good by Chicago. For the Los Angeles Clippers, they come in off a good outing against Milwaukee.
And they ran their offense nearly to perfection in that one. Very few possessions were wasted.
Yeah, they put the mute button on them that time. I mean, in front of a hostile crowd, they never let the fans get going. They silenced them over and over again with big, timely shots.
Paul dishes to Crawford. Pass to Griffin. Some nice ball movement by the Clippers. Outside, Pierce. Pass to Paul. Lock at 6. And good on the basket. Book it. Paul's got his first 2 points of the night. Chicago trailing here. Outside Rose. To the paint. Got a piece of it. Pierce with the steal. And now in transition is Pierce. Here we go. Kicks it out to Crawford. Rebound by the Bulls. They couldn't put the pieces together, losing that last matchup with Boston.
And I think they could hold their heads high from that performance, you know, despite the final score being what it was.
I agree with you. I mean, it was a tough game played in a tough environment on the road, and they were in it right until the bitter end, so that's good stuff.
Here's Jordan after the made shot from Andre Drummond. And Pierce, here we go. It's deflected. Gasol with the steal. Oh, and a fast break for the Bulls. And it's Wright missing. For Los Angeles, they've gone 3 of 7 from the field since we've gotten underway. Crawford against Butler. Crawford passes to Griffin. And he drops in the layup off the glass. Griffin's got his second bucket of the night.
Well, I tell you what, the post play has been rock solid right off the bat.
It really has, and they've created a lot of high percentage shots in the paint here already.
And he gets it to go.
And his presence as a scorer, it just has a calming effect for the rest of the team. He's a fallback option whenever they need one.
Now here's Paul. He had a 15-point outing in their last game against the Bucks in Milwaukee. Lets a floater go. He takes it up and lays it in.
Oh, terrific way to finish that move there, going to the basket.
Here's Rose. Some stats for him. He averages over 21 points a game.
Chris Paul, guys, for the last decade, the best point guard in the NBA. Now, there's some new competition for that distinction, though, with Steph Curry breaking through to NBA stardom. And it's always exciting to watch these two go head-to-head.
Now here's Griffin after the miss from Pau Gasol. Jordan with a screen on Drummond. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Excellent use of the screen that time. And that's now 6 points for Chris Paul. Bulls trail by 4. How would you compare Chris Paul and Steph Curry?
Well, Steph Curry is just an off-the-chart shooter. I think the best in the history of the game in overall shot making and creativity as far as shooting goes. Paul is more of an orchestrator, a maestro supreme.
And the foul called on Pau Gasol. That's his first foul. Clippers have gone 6 of 10 from the field in this ballgame. Paul outside, and there's the 3-second call, this one on the defense. And a chance for just a second to check out the scoring breakdown for the Clippers.
Well, I like the fact they've already been getting a lot of high-quality shots in the paint.
Also, guys, the passing has been terrific in the first half. They'll be happy with all those assists.
And that one falls for Paul. Usually you talk about how tough a player is, and you're always talking about big guys. But Chris Paul is as tough as they come playing that little point guard position.
Yeah, he's a power pack when you look at him. I mean, he's played through a lot of injuries and still has a big-time impact on the game. Most recently in the playoffs, he played through injury to beat the Spurs.
Bulls trail by 3. Here's Butler. Yes, and it's Rose with the assist that time. Butler's got his first 2 points.
He always knows where his teammate's going to be, and Kevin, that will let him put the ball where he wants it, right waiting for him.
And the Clippers decide to take their first time out here and going against Chicago, their first meeting of the season.
And you have to love it when there's a matchup like this. Two teams that are at the top of their respective conferences going at it.
Well, you know, they split their meetings last season, and the way both of these teams love to compete, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened again.
Here's what Chicago's going with right now. Splitter's checked in for Drummond. Gibson comes in for Pau Gasol. And Mirotic subbed in for Jarrell Wright. Now here's Pierce. He picked up 21 points in their last win against the Bucks in Milwaukee. Shot clock at 6. No problems knocking that one down. 6 points for Blake Griffin.
And he's really been working to get those looks, and it's starting to pay off here early on.
Crawford against Butler. Back to Rose. Good. Rose has got 6.
No issues on that one. Good work all around.
Clippers have gone 7 of 12 from the field here in the first quarter. Ball against Rose. Paul kicks to Griffin, and he jams it after taking the nice feed on the run.
Man, he slams it home and gets a little camera time on the backside of it.
He spent a while up there on the rim.
And I like the fact that the ref's going to give him a little bit of leeway there and a lot more than they used to.
Mirotic gets the bucket.
You can't afford to get him that kind of a look.
Well, you know, he came off a good screen, but still, as a defender, you've got to do a better job of fighting over and through that.
Paul dishes to Crawford. Down low, got a piece of it. Crawford against Butler. And there's the feed to Mirotic. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here. Well, what a season it was for Mirotic last year. Came on stronger for the Chicago Bulls. Continued to improve. Effective in the playoffs. Really a joy to watch in his first year.
And interesting, so much hype going into the season was about Dougie McDermott.
Yes.
And whether or not he was going to be in the running for Rookie of the Year. It ended up being Mirotic. Most years, he could have walked away with that award.
Ties it up, and this next one could give them the lead.
For Mirotic, he was most valuable late in games, guys. From March on, he led the league in fourth quarter points per game.
Catching up on the changes for Chicago. Clarkson comes in for Jimmy Butler, and it's Brooks in for Derrick Rose. The Clippers also changing it up. Josh Smith, he's checked in for Griffin. And Stevenson comes in for Paul Pierce. And J.J. Redick is subbed in for Jamal Crawford.
And for that note about Mirotic, in the fourth, he outscored LeBron and Westbrook that month. That's impressive for any player, much less a rookie.
Now here's Paul. He's got 7. Just 5 on the clock. From the high post. The shot by Redick, no good.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
Mirotic has a wide open look. Drops in the tray. Mirotic has got 7 points.
How in the world did they let him get that wide open?
Jordan the screen. Stevenson drives in. And DeAndre Jordan throws it down.
The one-hand slam is so sweet when it's his hand doing the slam.
Oh, yeah, he is so smooth, even on a power finish like that.
And really, that's what makes him unique, that combination of power and polish.
Now, here's Stevenson. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him.
Shots are just flowing for him right now, having a really strong quarter.
Here's Brooks. He dishes it to Mirotic. In the corner, it's Clarkson. To the paint, here's Splitter, and the layup is good after a nice lead pass.
Those are the kind of nice inside looks they've gotten in the first half here.
And I think they should continue to work the ball down low, Clark. It's really going to free up their outside shooting.
Redick with the bucket.
And guys, they continue to put a lot of pressure on the interior defenders with the way they work down low.
It's becoming a theme in this game, Clark. They are piling up the points in the paint.
Now here's Brooks. He's averaging just around 8.5 points a game. Redick passes to Jordan. Dishes to Smith. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2.
And guys, Josh Smith, an interesting blend of talents. A good defender, great finisher around the rim. Also an underrated passer at times for a big man.
And Josh Smith, kind of a tweener. He's spent some time at power forward. Clark, he's spent some time at small forward. He's handled the ball. He's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, he is, but I think he's best, Kevin, working inside. He's gotten stronger. He's worked on his post game, and I think as time has passed, he's settled in as a full-time power forward. At least that's where he should settle into.
And Josh Smith drops them both. Well, guys, Josh Smith, an interesting case. Clark, he shot about 2 triples a game last year, yet for the last 3 seasons, his free throw percentage has been under, surprisingly, 55%.
Yeah, and that's terribly troubling. I mean, his three-point percentage improved in Houston, but the free throws, really, he can do much better than that. You look at his stroke, I think it's just a matter of concentration with Josh.
Guys, this offense very effective.
Going right at him.
And guys, the defense has been no match. They've just picked them apart.
Now, here's Redick. Last game he had 12. Jordan with the screen on Splitter. The shot by Redick, no good.
And with Smith and his shooting, a lot of it is mental. I mean, he has a terrific stroke from anywhere. The free throws are all in his head because he can make threes. He's just got to be a little more focused.
Brooks against Stevenson. Brooks kicks to Mirotic. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Brooks. Mirotic has got it all tied up now for the Bulls. And the Clippers call time here.
And, you know, thinking again about Smith, he made some big shots for the Rockets last year, but you never know quite what you're going to get with him taking perimeter shots.
And there before you are the teams that have been absolutely red hot for the last 10 games. Number 1, the Bulls. The Clippers 3rd.
I mean, this is about hot shooting for both these teams recently. Two teams playing with tremendous confidence. This sure makes for an exciting matchup.
The Bulls making a switch here. Prince is checked in. We've got 1:13 left in the first quarter of the game. Paul dishes to Redick. He kicks it to Jordan. Feeds it to Paul. And there's the pass to Smith. Los Angeles with another miss. Chicago's gone 1 of 3 from beyond the arc so far in the game. Brooks outside. Clarkson with the ball. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him.
You know, guys, Taj Gibson now has 6 full seasons in the NBA. Already 30 years old. Seems like just yesterday he was being drafted.
And they now lead as the free throw drops for him. Getting back to Gibson, he was one of the oldest college freshmen in the country at age 21. Played 3 years at USC. Then he was one of the oldest players in the 2009 draft, even though he declared as a junior.
Yeah, I think the NBA is the only profession where it hurts you to have a lot of experience coming out, you know, because that's one reason why he did drop. I mean, had he been a couple years younger, with his length and athleticism, he very well could have been a top 10 pick. But I tell you what, the Bulls are happy that he wasn't.
Here's Brooks following the basket by Chris Paul. For Clark, we've seen the lead change hands quite a bit in this one.
Yeah, we sure have. I mean, it's been a bit of a windshield wiper game. I mean, back and forth, the lead has gone 5 times, so no one in clear control yet.
And guys, I think each team knows they can win this game, just a matter who can catch that momentum.
And the release was before the buzzer, but it's off target. So at the end of 1 quarter of play, still a close game. Bulls lead by 1. And back with the start of the second quarter in just a moment. And DeAndre Jordan not a focal point offensively for this team, but as a defender, he understands he can make a big difference.
I'm not really a big scorer for our team, but that's not my job. My job is to defend and rebound for our team. And, you know, I've accepted my role, and I feel like I'm, you know, excelling in my role.
Jordan, a man who knows what his job is, and he likes his job, Clark, and does it very, very well. He is excelling.
Yeah, he is. He may not be the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year, but he is certainly the Clippers' Defensive Player of the Year. Jordan's become a defensive beast, an animal defensively, and really the thing of it is he's still learning and growing. He's going to continue to get better, which is scary.
And off we go, a close game now starting the second quarter. And guys, what's your take on the Clippers so far?
It's been a point of emphasis, no doubt, to make sure they attack the rim offensively.
I love the fact they're not settling for outside shots. Keep attacking that rack.
Rose is the 1 with Butler is the 2. Andre Drummond is out there with Pau Gasol. And it's Prince in at the 3 slot. That's the Bulls 5 as we get into the second quarter. So Johnson hits 2 of them. And guys, Wesley Johnson, 4th overall pick back in the 2011 draft. Everyone thought he would have the jump shot to become a prolific scorer. And Clark, the length to defend at a high level.
Yeah, you know, in his rookie year, he averaged 9 points a game. Last year, his 5th, he averaged 10. I think it's to the point where he is what he is.
Now here's Butler. He's coming off a 16-point game against Boston. Nice spin off the left rim and in. Guys, 7 times the lead has changed hands here now.
And we still aren't halfway through this contest yet.
Yeah, and that number should easily top double figures before it's over.
Rose against Paul, and Butler sends it back. Crawford, no one around him. Rebound by Rose.
The defense there got away with a major lapse.
from 11 feet away. And it's the Clippers with the rebound.
You know, and getting back to Wesley Johnson, you kind of want to kidnap him and just chain him to a set of weights. I mean, he has all the natural ability in the world to be a difference maker, but he just lacks the strength to do anything with it. I mean, a voracious competitor in college. He's been relegated to marginal production at the pro level, and I really feel like a lot of it is because he physically struggles at times at this level. And he's made more than his fair share of those today.
The Bulls have gone 2 of 4 shooting the ball here in the second. 2 minutes now played in the second quarter. Rose with the ball. Now Smith defending. Here's Gasol. The rebound by Johnson.
You know, on the topic of Wesley Johnson, I remember him in college. I remember the guy who took over games and even showed a certain toughness when he did it. He hasn't gotten to that point here in the pros, so he may soon be entering a crossroads in his career.
Now here's Butler, following the miss by Griffin. The dish to Rose. They get the rebound. Gasol. Here's Prince. Good, and the assist goes to Gasol. Prince has got his first points of the night.
They are not rotating nearly quickly enough on defense down low. Got to get quicker there.
Just no resistance on the interior.
Now here is Smith. He had a 15-point outing in their last game against the Bucks in Milwaukee. Right side, Butler. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there. Jamal Crawford picks one up.
Really impressed with the way Jimmy Butler last season made big strides in his game, going from a supporting role player to someone you can build your team around.
And Jimmy Butler had the career highs across the board last season. Won the Most Improved Player of the Year award. Really picking up his production in his 4th season.
You know, we had seen the flashes of potential in Butler before. Last season, he sustained great play and really took everything to the next level.
Right, he's checked in for Chicago. And Los Angeles making a change here as well. Pierce is checked in.
When you're talking about the greatest clutch players ever, that list needs to include Paul Pierce. I mean, he slowed down a bit, no doubt, but don't let that fool you. If you give him any kind of look at the end of the game, he'll cut your heart out.
Here's Gasol, following the basket by Blake Griffin. Gasol passes to Butler, but they get it back. And Drummond kicks to right. Back to Drummond. Rose up on top. 8 points for him. And that one's good. Drummond. Looking back at Paul Pierce's career, Clark, so many game winners. None more impressive than his jump over Dwayne Wade in the first round of the 2010 playoffs.
Yeah, you know, Shaq nicknamed him the Truth for a good reason. I mean, Pierce grew up in L.A. and reportedly dreamed of playing with the Lakers. Ironic that he instead became one of the Celtics' all-time greats.
And a moment now to look at the scoring approach in terms of where the points are coming from here for Chicago.
You know what, guys? It looks to me like they're really in sync here, all on the same page. They've already got a bunch of assists.
Yeah, and they've also balanced that, though, guys, with the attack off the bounce as well to get them some points.
Bulls making a switch here. Mirotic is checked in. Here's Crawford. Jimmy Butler making his last shot. Griffin attacking. And no good, trying to use the glass.
The inside just a bit too congested for him to get the usual shot he would have with rhythm.
Passes to Butler, pulls up, cannot hit. And the Clippers will come the other way. They'll be off to Brooklyn for a meeting with the Nets after this one. And that will be the 4th of the string of 5 played on the road. Paul kicks to Pierce. Back to Paul, to the middle, and the wide open shot from Griffin, and it falls over the rim and in. Griffin's got 5 points now in the quarter.
And after his last game, really not surprised to see him as hot as he is here tonight.
Drummond sets the screen for Rose, to the middle, and Andre Drummond, the bucket on the assist by Rose. Rose has got 6 assists here tonight. Clippers trail by 5. Ball outside. And stolen by Wright. And now here comes Wright, leading the break. Rose can't hit.
No doubt he's struggling right now from the field. Let's see if he can get it going this quarter.
Ball outside. To the paint. Kicks it to Crawford. 4 on the clock. There's the triple. And Chris Paul hits from deep. Paul's got 16.
Defender there in the neighborhood, but not quite close enough. Good shot.
Outside Rose. He feeds it to Mirotic. Stolen by Pierce. And pushing it up, here's the Clippers. Pierce with the ball. That evens the score. 18 points for Chris Paul.
And really smart to draw his man out to the perimeter. He's giving up too much size to be effective inside.
Showed nice basketball IQ. I agree, Greg. I mean, if he finds his spot on the perimeter and doesn't force it, I think his outside shot will be hard to block no matter who's defending.
And the first timeout of the game called for Chicago. Well, Paul Pierce hinted that he could hang him up soon. He had that amazing run. Has nothing left to prove in the NBA, and I would say of all the players in last year's playoffs, had some of the most dramatic individual shots we have seen from one guy in a long time.
He did, and you forget he's done that really over the course of his entire career.
Sure.
Just kind of funny to see him doing it in a Wizards jersey. But you talked about it. He's going to go down as one of the all-time greats, no doubt about it. So many big moments over the course of his career. And also, for all the kids out there, the best maybe footwork you have in a game. If you want to improve as a player, how's Paul Pierce's footwork?
Taj Gibson's checked in for Chicago. Clarkson comes in for Derrick Rose. And then for the Clippers, DeAndre Jordan comes in for Wesley Johnson. And J.J. Redick is subbed in for Chris Paul. Now, here's Clarkson. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. Right, left side. And the whistle blows on the backcourt violation. He went over and back. Quick hands and the ability to anticipate the opening to create a turnover. So valuable, especially for a guard, as we see two tremendous talents with their ability to steal that ball away.
You know, and John Stockton, the only player to have cracked the 3,000 barrier in terms of career steals. You ask the fans about Stockton, and it's his passing they'll remember. But if you ask the players he's played up against, they'll tell you it's his defense that was just as sharp.
Now, here's Clarkson, following the miss by Griffin. Clarkson kicks to Mirotic. Shoots off the step back. Jordan with the rebound.
Well, I think he had all the space he needed. He just couldn't find the bottom of the net.
Redick. And that one goes, feeding him with the lead pass.
How about the passing? They are moving the ball without any thought, without any individual agenda.
Yeah, and it's really fun to see that kind of unselfishness. Really hard not to appreciate all the assists they've racked up.
And that one's good. Brooks.
A lot of space right there to get that shot off.
Not a very good job with the defender getting over the top of that screen in that particular play.
Now, here's Stevenson. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one. Picked by Griffin. Jordan dishes to Stevenson. Brooks against Redick. Pierce with a wide open look. Off target from three-point range. Chicago's gone 0-2 from deep here in the second. Clarkson kicks to Gibson. Here's Clarkson. He gives the team some steady offense, a bit under 10 points a game. Again, the miss by Brooks.
Nobody even close to him, and he can't believe he doesn't knock it down.
Jordan the screen. Pierce with a screen for Stevenson. The kick out to Pierce. Pierce with another miss. Bulls have gone 7-16, shooting just under 50% here in the second quarter. Pierce with the steal. Pass to Jordan. The feed to Redick. Takes a three. Shot is off. Now Chicago takes it the other way. And Wright kicks to Mirotic. There's a screen. Launches it. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Brooks. Brooks has got his 3rd assist on the night.
Just look at what a sniper he is from long range. He's got such an unusual skill for a big fella.
Now, here's Stevenson. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. Pierce with it. Now guarded by Gibson. Pass to Redick. 6 on the shot clock. And oh, here we go. Brooks got it. The fast break chance. It's off his leg. And it's being called a kickball. Splitters checked in for Wright. Now, here's Clarkson. He's guarded by Stevenson. On the wing, Brooks. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Shot's good. Brooks has got the lead up to 5 now for the Bulls. Los Angeles has gone 1 of 3 from way outside since the start of the second quarter. Jordan the screen. Redick for 3, and that one's good. Redick's got 7 points.
He's making it look easy scoring out there because he's much more efficient here in the second.
To the inside. Throws it down as the official calls the foul. It may be a 3-point play. It's going to be on DeAndre Jordan.
And that's how it's done. I mean, find that hole in the D and then go hard to the rack.
Maybe that hole was a little bigger than it should have been.
Well, it was. I mean, a tight game like this one, you'd think they'd have a little more energy at the defensive end than that.
Tayshaun Prince is checked in for the Bulls. And Los Angeles making a change here as well. Smith checked in for Paul Pierce.
And guys, the Clippers last year, they were okay against the Eastern Conference, but not spectacular. You would have thought that with how well they were overall, they would have just really feasted on the East.
Now, here's Stevenson. Looking for his first basket still in this one. Chicago leading by 5. And some nice ball movement here by Chicago. Now, here's Clarkson. Defense is right there. The drive by Brooks. Tipped away. Tries to save it. And the shot clock expires. 24-second violation. As you said with the Clippers, Greg, they did decently against the Eastern Conference. But of the Western playoff teams, Clark, they had the 2nd worst record against the Eastern Conference.
And, you know, things like that matter, Kevin. I mean, they struggled against Eastern Conference playoff teams, went only 6-10 against those teams last year.
Pau Gasol's checked in for Taj Gibson. And there's the 3-second call, this one on the defense. For Los Angeles, they have shot 6 of 7 at the line.
And as a team, they're down around 72% for the season.
And they've made progress in that department from last season going into this one, guys. I mean, the numbers have improved.
And Redick is just an unbelievable three-point shooter. It's not just his volume, it's his pinpoint accuracy. By the end of last season, Redick was 40% from behind the arc for his career.
Now, here's Stevenson. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. Down to 5 on the shot clock. And Gasol sends it back. Brooks kicks to Prince. Outside Gasol. Releases. It's hauled in by Los Angeles. Smith's got his 3rd rebound tonight. And for Redick, he knew what his NBA career would be like way back in 2005. Clark, I recall him saying, I think I'll be a role player like 80% of the players in the league. I don't expect to be a star. I'll just shoot. I'll be a team player.
Yeah, and he's exactly right. He was highly decorated in college, but every scout knew his strength was shooting the basketball, and J.J. knew it as well.
Now, here's Clarkson. After the miss from Pau Gasol. Splitter kicks to Gasol. He dishes it to Clarkson. To the middle. Here's Prince. And it's Griffin with the rebound. Griffin's got his 4th rebound in this one. Picked by Griffin. Smith against Splitter. It's Redick on the wing. Jordan with the screen on Prince. Redick. Chicago grabs the miss.
Good pick, but he just couldn't make it count.
Yeah, nice job of setting the screen by his teammate there, and I'm sure he appreciated it.
And we're through the first half of basketball here, and what's been a good one. It's the Bulls leading by 4. And a chance now to send you over to Doris Burke, standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Josh, you guys seemed intent on getting this win tonight. How important a game was this to this team?
Most definitely. I mean, this game is as important as the next. We really need this win. I'm pretty sure they need it too. So, you expect a good show out of all of us.
2 hungry teams, no doubt about it, Josh. Thanks for the time.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here again with Kenny Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. We welcome you back to the 2K Sports Halftime Show. It was a closely contested first quarter for Chicago. Their largest deficit of the period was just 4 points. They were right there within shouting distance the entire time. The second quarter was a strong effort for them as they continued to battle, and they were able to close out the half in a good position. And Kenny, what did you think about what you saw from Chicago?
You have to love a team that pounds the offensive glass. That's going to gain you extra possessions. And check this out. Sometimes just having more offensive chances than your opponent wins the basketball game.
And over to Shaq. Now your take on the Clippers.
Well, their defense was really inconsistent. They get a stop, then turn around and give up an easy bucket. That's why they allowed over 50% shooting. Their defense needs to be a lot more focused in the second half.
And that'll do it for now as the second half of our game is about to get underway. Kevin Harlan has the call.
Been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first half. Third quarter starting here now.
You know, Paul is playing really well. 18 points and 5 assists. This is some performance we're witnessing out of him.
My man, a night to remember. No doubt about it.
Our second half of basketball and presented by Gatorade. Let's see who's all fueled up and on the floor to start the third. Setting the floor for the Clippers. Inside, it's Griffin and Jordan. Paul and Crawford pair up at the 1 and 2. And it's Pierce in at the 3 spot.
How about the screen that frees him up, though, for the jumper?
Rose against Paul. Inside. And stolen by Wright. And here we go. The Bulls fast break. It's Butler that time on the assist by Rose. And 11 points for Jimmy Butler.
His shooting has been outstanding. Definitely one of the reasons they're up in this game.
Paul passes to Crawford. From 15 feet away, and the jumper is good. Crawford's got his first bucket in this one. Rose with the ball. Chris Paul covering. Rose dishes to Butler. Gasol a screen, and there's the defensive 3-second call. Clippers were so strong on the road last season. They led the league, Clark, in field goal percentage while on the road, and actually they scored more points away from Staples than in it.
Especially down the stretch, Kevin. I mean, they finished the regular season with 8 straight road wins to get home court advantage in the first round. Superb.
And the free throw no good, but they'll get the ball back here.
And the Clippers, with those 8 road wins at the end, you mentioned, that pushed their road record to 26-15. That was second best in the league. Also set a franchise high for road wins.
Pierce with the steal. Crawford outside. Dishes to Paul. Up top, Griffin, defended by Drummond. Griffin kicks to Paul. 6 to shoot. Here's Jordan. And count the basket. He was fouled, and he's going to the line for one more.
How about the purpose with which he's crashing the backboards right now? Some hard-earned second chance points.
You know, what's amazing about the Clippers on the road last year, guys, was the context. I mean, they had a bunch of back-to-back games and went 16-4 on the back end of back-to-backs. 11 of those came on the road.
Andre Jordan has been extremely productive over 7 years. That makes it even more unbelievable that there was some question, Clark, as to his commitment to basketball coming into the league.
Yeah, you know, on talent and athleticism alone, he would have been a top 10 pick for sure, but he slipped to the second round, and he's made good on it, though.
Now here's Jordan, following the miss by Derrick Rose. Jordan, the pass to Paul. To the paint, here's Griffin. Oh, and that one, no question, powered it down.
Went for the two-hander on that slam. That's where the weight room comes into play, Kevin.
I think some urgency from him there.
I think he's sensing that this is a critical time in the game, fellas.
That doesn't go either for Rose.
And watching DeAndre Jordan, he's really refined his game over the years without losing the athleticism. He's that rubbery, long-limbed athlete that transcends age. And so far, I've seen zero drop-off in his leaping ability and quickness, but no question he's improved his skills and IQ.
Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over.
And talking about DeAndre Jordan, he is displaying an energy level that many scouts wondered if he had. Let's face it, he underachieved a bit in his 1 year in college. He knows that. But when it's come time to do it at the highest level, DeAndre has risen to the occasion.
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Well, Kevin, I was able to listen in on what the head coach of the Chicago Bulls was going over in his huddle. He made no mistake that their plan was to run their offense through Drummond. Coach is calling on him to play a big role in the offense for the rest of this game, to really be one of the key guys for them down the stretch. Perhaps the rest of the second half will look different after those adjustments, Kevin.
Thanks a lot, Doris. Now here's Crawford after the miss from Andre Drummond. For the lead, Crawford, no luck. For Chicago, they've gone 2 of 5 shooting here in the third quarter. Butler with the ball, and Crawford picks him up defensively. Rose kicks to Gasol. It's good. This time the assist from Rose. Rose has got his 8th assist here tonight.
Wow, what a pass there. He made that a very easy basket with that setup.
And the Clippers call time here. Bulls made the postseason for the 10th time in their last 11 seasons. Last year, they have become a fixture, Greg, in the playoffs in the East.
And how about last season, Kevin, had that interdivision matchup in their first round against up-and-coming Bucks. Some hiccups for them in that series, but they were able to prevail.
During that break, Coach Rivers had some words for his team. He was intent on running the offense through Jordan. Coach is looking for big things from him throughout the rest of this game on the offensive end. A lot of the scoring burden will fall on him. Those are likely not the last adjustments they make today, guys. There's still time left in this one. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Doris. Now here's Jordan. 6 points for him. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Boy, in that playoff series against the Bucks, the Bulls looked like they were primed for an upset as they started slowly, eventually pulled it together, and came in as the underdogs against the Cavs.
And the Cavs knocked out the Bulls in 6 games. Bulls went up 2-1 in the series, but didn't have an answer for LeBron. Strong effort from the Bulls, though, but they just couldn't match the firepower of the Cavs.
Boy, for Jamal Crawford, guys, it's been a really good career. Not many guys can maintain his level of quickness after 15 years in the league. I mean, but last season, he finally started to show a little wear and tear.
Both free throws good from Crawford. And back to Crawford last season, he was down in field goal and three-point percentage. Plus, he battled with a calf injury that ultimately kept him out of 17, 18 games late in the year.
Yeah, Kevin, but his deep range spread the floor when he was out there. He still has that presence about him that you have to honor him. And he also hits some very timely shots. A dangerous assassin who always needs to be accounted for.
Boy, but he was close, Kevin, to making the defense pay for lackadaisical coverage there.
Yeah, you may not be as lucky next time down if you're the defense. You cannot allow him to get those kinds of looks.
Gibson. And good, and it takes a nice bounce off the right iron and down. And the Bulls lead by 2. Paul kicks to Johnson. And it's Crawford, top of the key. Johnson the screen, shoots off the screen, kicks it out to Paul. That drops and it comes off an assist from Jordan. And that's 21 points for Chris Paul. And Clark, as we approach the fourth quarter, still anyone's ball game.
Yeah, exactly right, Kevin. I mean, these teams just simply keep trading baskets and as a result, trading the lead.
Yeah, neither team able to create much of a cushion.
Now here's Butler, 11 points in the game. Outside Rose. Here's Drummond, and he takes that one up and powers it through.
And that's an example of willpower right there, guys. I mean, grabbing the offensive rebound and then going back up strong.
And GA, in a close game like this where every possession is critical, that could prove to be a very big one.
Boy, it sure could, Kevin. I mean, he salvaged 2 big points for them off that miss.
Here's Butler. No good. So Los Angeles will take it the other way. And pushing it up, here's Los Angeles. Pierce is running.
That's a shot he shouldn't be afraid to take more often.
The Bulls have gone just a bit under 50% from the field since halftime, 5 out of 11. Butler against Crawford. Butler kicks to Rose. Count it! And he'll have a chance for a 3-point play. Chris Paul picks up that one.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
Well, I agree with you. 4 of their last 5 baskets have been exactly of that variety.
And the Bulls making a change here. Mirotic is checked in. Josh Smith, he's checked in for the Clippers. Redick comes in for Jamal Crawford. The free throw drops for Rose. Derrick Rose, unbelievable spirit. We know about his toughness, has fought through injuries of all kinds that might cause a lesser competitor to hang up his sneakers.
And competitor, that's the word, Kevin. I mean, he was impossible to outcompete at the high school level, the college level, and now in the pros.
Now here's Redick. 8 points for him. Smith, no good. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. The kick out to Rose. Feeds to Mirotic for 3. It's rebounded by Paul.
And, you know, back to D. Rose for a moment. He drives the lane now as hard as he did before the injury. It's a level of fearlessness that only a few guys possess. And it's not teachable. You either have it or you don't. Well, I don't think you're going to miss too many like those.
Left side, Gibson. Mirotic against Johnson. Here's Butler, and he gets it to go from the high post. Butler's got 6 here in this quarter.
And, you know, back to D. Rose, he grew up in a brutally dangerous neighborhood on Chicago's South Side. Some of that fearlessness, that competitiveness he exhibits was learned early on out of necessity.
From 11 feet away, here's Smith. Chicago grabs the miss. Rose has got his 3rd rebound tonight. fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot two. Derrick Rose has certainly piled up the awards for such a young player, starting with Rookie of the Year, the 111 first place votes to only 5 for the runner-up. We know about his MVP, and that just shines out so brightly for him.
And how about he and Michael Jordan, the only MVPs in Chicago Bulls history?
You know, looking back to Rose's MVP award, his stats were on another planet that year. He was only the 3rd player to record 2,000 points and 600 assists in a single season since 1973. The other two, LeBron James and Michael Jordan.
And Rose drops them both.
You know, in talking about D. Rose, I don't think the individual awards mean much to him. He's about trying to help his team win championships. And that's the kind of mindset he has to continue to display.
Here's Rose after the Clippers pick up 2. Right wing. Here's Mirotic. And again, Chicago. No good. The Clippers trail. Paul with the ball, and Rose picks him up defensively. The drive by Smith, and the shot is good. Smith's got 6 points in the quarter.
Really crisp, intelligent passing to make that basket possible.
Mirotic the screen. And the pass to Gibson. Uncovered. And it's slammed in by Splitter.
And that putback about as easy a bucket as you're going to get.
Exactly what happens when you don't box out, Greg.
Now here's Paul. He's got 21. Redick inside the line. Good, and Paul gets the assist. Redick's got the game tied up here for the Clippers. Chicago's gone 0 of 2 from deep to start things here in the second half. Too long in the paint, and he's hit with a 3-second violation. The Bulls have attempted 11 free throws today and converted 8 of them.
At the line for the Bulls, 1 shot.
And he shows the focus there, nails the technical. Chicago was as strong as they would have hoped for last season at home in the United Center. A lot of big wins for him here.
Yeah, and despite all the injuries, they go 27-14 at home, and that helped to assure them of home court in the first round of the playoffs.
Aaron Brooks is checked in for the Bulls. Blake Griffin, he's checked in for the Clippers. Clippers trail by 3. Ball outside. Down low. And Griffin scores. The assist by Paul. 17 points for Blake Griffin.
That's the kind of aggressive and assertive play they need as we get closer and closer to crunch time.
You're right, Clark. Just continue to pound it in the paint and get those easy points inside.
Now, here's Clarkson. Here's Mirotic. The dive for the ball. And out of bounds as the Clippers gain possession. Well, when you think of the great playmakers in league history, John Stockton per game averaged double-digit dimes. Think of this. For his career, 15,806 career assists. A record you knew right off would stand for a very long time.
And guys, you know, you look up point guard in the dictionary, and there's a nice little picture of John Stockton there. I mean, he is an unreal distributor. Controlled the game like no one ever has before or since. It's no coincidence that Utah never missed the playoffs in any of the 19 seasons that John Stockton was at the helm.
Now here's Brooks, following the miss by Griffin. Gasol, a screen on Paul. Shot clock at 6. Griffin with the steal. The dish to Redick. And a great assist by Paul as that one goes in. Redick's got 4 points in the quarter.
And the crisp passing has opened things up for them offensively.
10 straight points off assists. That's very impressive, and it also makes the game easy and fun to watch.
Now here's Prince. They set the pick. Brooks outside. Splitter sets a screen. Off the screen. Rebound by the Clippers.
I love the anticipation defensively there to get into the perfect spot.
Chicago trailing here. Lets it go from 11, and it's good off the glass. And Clark, a great competitive game so far.
Yeah, tit for tat. I mean, back and forth, plenty of lead changes, and excellent play.
And from the look of it, this one could go right down to the wire.
Smith, no luck. Chicago has gotten blank from three-point land so far in the third, still 0 for 3. Brooks kicks to Gasol. Passes it to Clarkson. He feeds it to Splitter. Can't hit from the elbow. LA has gone 1 of 4 in three-point shots here in the third. 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Stevenson with it. He's picked up by Brooks. Off the pick. Nice jump shot. Good. Stevenson's got his first 2 points of the night.
You can't afford to give him that kind of a look.
Well, you know, he came off a good screen, but still, as a defender, you've got to do a better job of fighting over and through that.
Brooks from outside, and that's not going to go. It's still anybody's game as we've reached the end of 3. Clippers lead by 1. And time for the short break, and stay right where you are. The fourth quarter is coming up next. All right, we welcome you back to what's been a hard-fought battle. Fourth quarter should be good. Here is Stevenson. Rose is the 1 with Butler as the 2. Pau Gasol is out there with Andre Drummond, and it's Wright in at the 3, the small forward. So that's the 5 in the game for Chicago.
Defensively, they can't afford to back off of him that much. You don't want to be giving up easy threes, especially at this stage of the game.
And here is Gasol following the three-pointer by Paul Pierce. Butler attacking, and that one's good.
I mean, you never expect to get opportunities that easy coming down the stretch of a tight game.
Crawford outside. He kicks to Redick. Back to Crawford. Just 5 to shoot. There's the triple. Jimmy Butler with the rebound. Butler's got 4 rebounds now tonight. Rose against Redick. Rose dishes to Butler. Kicks to Gasol. 14 feet away. The Clippers grab the miss. Pierce has got 4 rebounds in this game. Here's Crawford. Crawford missing again.
Well, you know, they're in the lead, but he's still been frustrated from an offensive standpoint.
Drummond with a screen on Redick. Rose passes to Drummond, and it's out of bounds, and they say last touch by Griffin.
You know what? A low percentage pass on that one, but sometimes it's worth the risk.
Well, that time the risk did not pay off because it was well defended.
DeAndre Jordan's checked in for Lance Stevenson. Now here's Rose. Outside Butler. Fires from 14. The shot is off. Nice D from Crawford. The Clippers have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start the fourth quarter. The 15-footer, good. Crawford's got the lead up to 4 now for the Clippers.
Wow, has he flipped a switch at halftime. Much more effective here in the second half.
Gasol setting the pick for Rose. The feed to Gasol. Yes, and it's Rose with the assist that time. Rose has got assist number 10 tonight with that last one. Rose against Redick. Pass to Griffin. Shot clock at 6. The fader. Can't get it to go. And it's Chicago the other way. Following this one, they get to host the Pelicans. That'll be the second game of a 5-game homestand. Here's Rose. The shot goes down and it gets this game back to even.
Oh, perfect timing there to knock down the teardrop.
Los Angeles has gone 1 of 2 from three-point range here in the fourth. And Griffin slams it in.
That's what I like, a nice, strong finish inside.
That's what he does. He's got that dunker mentality.
My goodness, physicality personified right there, able to just go up and finish over the biggest defender.
Chicago calls timeout. And with the fourth quarter push coming up here, the coach going over the game plan and these players rehydrating themselves with Gatorade, recharging their bodies, refocusing their minds, and getting that strategy down to close out the game. Quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
I was able to listen in on what Chicago's coach was going over with his team. The message, stick with it. He said the game is right there, fellas, right there for the taking. But we've got to play with purpose and precision. Kevin, can they get it done?
Bulls making a switch here. Gibson's checked in, poke loose, Crawford with the steal. And it's sent back by Drummond. Butler in the corner. Fires from the wing. Here's Gibson. And good work on the boards. They pick up the second chance points. Gibson's got the game tied up here for the Bulls. And Redick kicks to Griffin. And that one's good. Griffin's got 4 points this quarter.
Boy, they are passing the ball very crisply right now.
They really are, and their last 3 buckets have come by way of an assist.
Rose kicks to Drummond. Wright dishes to Drummond. Outside Rose. 14 feet away, and it's Griffin with the rebound. The Clippers have gone 4 of 8 in this fourth quarter, shooting an even 50% from the field. Redick passes to Crawford. He's looking for Jordan and finds him.
Now, this is why the breakaway rim was invented, for plays just like that.
Well, he almost brought the whole thing down, Clark, by hanging on that long.
Yeah, he did.
I tell you what, though, great dunk, and this is even a better game we got going on right now.
They grab their own miss. Clippers leading by 4. And the wide open shot from Redick. Here's Crawford. Uses the glass to finish the layup.
You know, huge height advantage there, but because of the great body control, he's able to cancel it out.
Agreed. The body control essential in that situation. I mean, if you're giving up a bunch of height, then you better be able to manufacture things in the air.
And they'll be counting on even more points from him. That's essential if they're going to pull this game out.
And the Clippers call time here. Yes, fans, Clark, and the one team they view as floppers is the Clippers. I don't like that word, but it just kind of came out. Whether that is fair or not is up for debate, but it is certainly, I think, the perception.
And I think there's some truth to that perception. I mean, multiple players have received fines for flopping on their roster. I mean, you can't run away from that, and the fans remember it, too.
Oh, they do, yes, sir. Here's Redick.
And for the Clippers and flopping, part of it might just be reputation. Whenever anyone hits the deck on their team, fans might be quick to kind of condemn that as a flop.
Now here's Redick. Crawford drives in, and a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
You know, the Clippers were the darlings of the NBA as they improved and made strides, but I think the flopping has kind of diminished that now, that love affair. Being labeled a group of floppers can certainly stifle your popularity.
And that one falls for Jamal Crawford.
Checking out the game Jamal Crawford is having. He has 11 points, and he's created a lot of chances for his teammates also.
And Clark, some of those assists that he's gotten today have been just electric.
He's perfect from the line this time.
Of course, he didn't have an attempt there in the first half. He's hoping to be a little bit more active and aggressive here and draw some fouls here in the second.
Now here's Rose. Drummond with a screen on Redick. And it's Rose missing.
Oh, man, you know he'd love to have that one over.
Crawford kicks to Griffin. Outside Pierce. And the Clippers miss again. Bulls trail by 6. Clark, they've been looking out of sync offensively.
You know what? A basket here would do a lot for their confidence.
And the shots just continue to say no in terms of falling.
Now here's Crawford following the miss by Derrick Rose. And Redick kicks to Griffin. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. And an interesting byproduct of Blake Griffin extending his shooting range in his perimeter defense, Clark, his rebounding numbers have gone way down.
Well, it's hard to have it both ways, Kevin. I mean, the team needs him to keep working on his perimeter game, and if he's out on the perimeter, it makes it tougher for him to get rebounds inside.
That free throw good from Griffin.
And on the topic of Griffin's rebounding, there's another force that helps submarine his numbers, DeAndre Jordan. Over the past few seasons, as Jordan's boards went up, Griffin's have gone down. Now, you'd think with the 2 elite rebounders that the team would finish better than 20th in rebounding last year, but that's another story.
Both free throws good from Griffin.
And back to Griffin for a minute. I think he will soon find a balance between his emerging perimeter game and his rebounding. 7.5 boards a game, far too few for him last year. He's likely to return to double-digit rebounding averages, I think, sometime soon.
And a moment here to take a look at the scoring breakdown for the Clippers.
And I like how they've taken the high percentage shot in the paint. In that first half, we saw them doing it, and they've continued to succeed as the game has worn on.
Something that also stands out tonight is the number of assists they have. I mean, that's a mark of a good club.
And so Wright nails both of them.
This is what they need to do in the second half to come out with a win. It's not the only thing, but when you convert free throws at the other end, you put a lot of pressure on the opponent to play solid defense against you.
Rose dishes to Butler. It's good. That's 8 baskets for him now. 8 for 15 shooting.
I'll tell you what, the defenders didn't even get a sniff of him on that move to the hoop.
Crawford outside. And it's a defensive 3-second violation. And so he hits the technical free throw. You know, you work hard all season, Greg, to try and get into the playoffs, then get a favorable first-round matchup. How about the Clippers last year? Followed those steps. They're rewarded with the first-round matchup against the defending champions of the league, the San Antonio Spurs.
And not only were the Spurs the defending champions, but they came in playing terrific basketball down the stretch, which is kind of what they are noted for. And the Clippers, though, did well, even though that was the case.
Rose passes to Wright. Here's Gibson. Jordan with the rebound. Jordan's got 7 rebounds in the game. And they're going to count the bucket and send him to the line. It could be a 3-point play.
Wow, fired that bounce pass in there. Beautiful.
You know, guys, one of the things that is always going to keep you competitive against the West is a good defense. It's one reason why the Bulls tend to be a tougher matchup for teams from the West, because they do D up.
Now here's Drummond. Pass to Butler. Gibson setting the pick for Butler. And again, no good by Chicago.
He shouldn't take advantage of the poor defense, but they can't count on him to continue missing.
I tell you what, I think he'd be happy if he can continue to get looks like that.
Here's Paul. Crawford outside. Clock at 6. High, arcing shot.
and trying to come up with the highlight reel finish. Somebody forgot to finish it.
Here's Butler, and foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. It's going to be on Blake Griffin. Bulls had a good year against the West last season, 17 up, 13 down against the Western Conference.
Yeah, and how about playing 500 or better against every division in the Western Conference? So impressive to think they did so well given how many games some of their starting players missed.
A free throw drop for Butler.
It's been a solid outing for Butler. 18 points and a block. You know, as tremendous as his stats are, what I've liked most is just the effort he's put into this game.
And Clark, he's worked his tail off at the offensive end, and his D, it has been on point.
And so Butler nails both of them.
Boy, Doc Rivers keeps on leading his teams to successful seasons. A former coach of the year rarely has a season where his team doesn't meet expectations.
Now here's Griffin. Nice teamwork to set up the big play and make the space for the J.
Perfect screen there. Set him up with a terrific look.
Yeah, I like the fact that the setup was good, the screen was solid, but you also have to look at the fact that the defender didn't do his job as well as he could have.
Good on that shot, and with that, the Los Angeles lead is cut down to just 6 points on the bucket from Drummond. And Doc Rivers passed the 700-win mark as a coach last season. He's climbing the ladder in career wins.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know that Doc oftentimes gets enough credit for the type of coach he is. I mean, as a coach, he is well over 500 in terms of his career win percentage. And how about over 500 in playoff games as well?
Count that one.
Vital basket there. This is just the time and really just the situation when he looks to take over.
Crawford kicks to Griffin inside and stolen by Drummond. Butler on the wing, defended by Paul. It's Drummond with the drive, and it's blocked by Jordan. Out of bounds, Bulls ball as Chicago keeps possession. Pau Gasol's checked in for Taj Gibson. Gasol kicks to Rose. That doesn't go either for Rose.
That's an unusual, surprising miss for him. Typically, he's good on those inside.
Crawford's shot is good.
This is a fantastic performance in this half. He didn't play as well in the first, but you just know with this guy, he's always ready to turn it around.
Now here's Wright. Baseline try. It's good, and the Clipper lead is cut down to 4 again on the bucket from Gasol.
A tough first half, but it's been a different story here since the break.
Outside Griffin. Paul outside. Jordan with a screen on Rose. 6 on the shot clock. Good for the 5th time in 5 shots. He remains perfect.
Nothing too fancy, just simple execution. That's getting the job done when they need to make every possession count.
Completely agree with that, Clark. They need stops and really can't afford any wasted possessions. Those inside shots are nice, high percentage looks.
Chicago calls timeout. Blake Griffin really making a difference here.
He's in one heck of a groove with the scoring. They're going to talk it over and try to figure out how to slow him down.
Outside Rose. And it's blocked by Jordan. And the foul called on Pau Gasol. That'll be his second foul of the game.
I mean, I like the call. I thought the defense was just there a little late.
Yeah, it looked like it. I mean, he kind of slid underneath as he got to the spot, too.
We've got 1:48 left here in the fourth quarter. The 15-footer. That misses off the backboard. Bulls trail by 6. Rose with the ball. Chris Paul covering. Rose dishes to Butler. Drummond with a screen on Crawford. Butler goes in. Drummond. The shot's good on the assist by Butler. 14 points for Andre Drummond.
Great job of screening there. Nice job to take it to the rim and get the finish.
Los Angeles calls timeout. They lead by 4. We've got 1:23 left in the fourth quarter. Left in the fourth quarter. The shot by Pierce will not go.
That's what we call good defense in the paint. Worth its weight in gold.
It absolutely is, and maybe even more than that. I mean, you saw it right there. Without his presence, that's an easy basket.
Now here's Butler. Down low. It's deflected. Griffin with the steal. And Crawford with the basket on the assist by Pierce. And the Clippers lead by 6.
It's been about tempo and pace with this group, and it's led to a huge advantage in fast break points.
Craig, is really the main reason they're in front. All that early offense. I mean, when they've had the chance to push it, they've pushed it.
Outside Rose. To the inside. Nails it! And now they trail by just 4.
Feeling it. No doubt about it. He's definitely feeling it right now. Shooting a terrific percentage from the field.
Now here's Griffin. Paul kicks to Jordan. There's 31 seconds left in the fourth quarter. 5 on the clock. It's Crawford with the drive. Bounces high off the rim and drops.
And really, with every point from this point on, it seems like they're just closer to finishing this one off.
If they haven't already done it. I mean, hey, it's been a tremendous all-around performance from this group. I don't think there's any question about that.
Good-looking screen by Gasol. To the paint. It's tipped. Crawford with the steal. And now we've got the intentional foul. And he misses the first one. Boy, he wanted that one to fall. That's off as well. So he misses both. Chicago with the ball. Back to Rose. To the wing on the left. Drummond passes to Rose. Fires from deep. No good. So So the Clippers with the win. They seem to relish their role as the bad guy here tonight.
You know, Kevin, I sense that as well. I mean, they really did feed off all of it.
Hey, Kevin, I'm here with
The 2K Sports post-game show.
Thank you, Kevin. And now we get a chance to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Chris Paul. Just a monster first quarter of the game. He came out hot and just never cooled down. That boost he gave his team early on, a huge factor.
They asked an awful lot from him tonight offensively, and he delivered. When they needed a big bucket, he was the guy they turned to, and he delivered, like I said. I mean, this guy was unbelievable. He did not shy away from the moment.
You know what? He's a total package as a floor general. It may not be an official ranking for the best leaders in the league, but if there was, CP3 would be right at the top of the list.
And that'll do it for this edition of the NBA on 2K Sports. Hope you enjoyed the show. From myself, Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, have a wonderful evening.